In this video, I'm going to go over how to include mouse inputs to create sketches that respond to user input. So what I have so far is I have a void setup with a size, and then I have my void draw area here. And what I want to do is I want to make a rectangle that simply follows the mouse movements of the user. So where we have the place where the rectangle starts, and then its width and its height, and so I'm going to fill all of those in. But first, I'm going to change the rect mode. I'm going to make the rectangle start from the center rather than from the upper left corner of the rectangle, so the X and Y will now determine the actual center of the rectangle rather than its upper left edge. And then the width and the height will of course still be the width and the height. So I'm going to make the width and the height, I'm just going to make it a square again. So I'm going to make it 100 by 100. But instead of putting in specific Y values like 400 or something, I'm going to put in mouseY. And instead of giving a specific X value, I'm going to put in mouseX. And then what this is going to do is this is going to give me a rectangle that is constantly where my mouse is. Right, and since there's no background being drawn, just kind of all these squares keep kind of popping up. Right, so that's one method to get some very quick user input. Okay, and then the other kind of input I want to get is what happens if you press the mouse. And this is going to involve something a little bit more complicated, because you can't just simply say mouseX is my variable. And what I need to do here is I need to create an if statement. And so the way this is going to work is I'm going to actually put the if statement above the rectangle, because I'm going to want to change the fill color of the rectangle when the mouse is pressed. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I have to create an if statement. And the if statement is going to look like this. It's going to be if, in the parentheses, mousePressed, then open curly bracket, we are going to fill the square and we are going to make it black. And then we're going to close the curly brackets. And then, I'm going to go down a line to do this actually, and then we're going to say else, meaning if the mouse is not pressed, then we will fill 255, which is going to be white. Okay, and so then what that's going to do is it's going to fill either black or white when my mouse is pressed, so that when I run this, I see what I see before, right, where I just see the right white square going out. But then if I press the mouse, I'm going to get a black square. And so I can essentially draw this rectangle between black and white. And that is using a simple if statement to check to see if the mouse is pressed or not, and then do different functions depending on how it is pressed. Now, of course, I could change the shape as well. Right, I could say fill 0, and this time I'm going to put the rectangle in here, and then if the mouse is not pressed, we're going to fill, and we are going to have a different shape. We're going to have an ellipse. So now if I run this, I'm going to get an ellipse when the mouse is not pressed, and then I'm going to get a black square when it is pressed. So that covers mouseX, mouseY to determine coordinates, and then a simple if statement with the mousePressed function.